And let's now cut across to the Indian Foreign Secretary briefing the media over Prime Minister Modi's visit to Japan for the Quad Summit.
Prime Minister would also hold bilateral meetings with the President of the US, Prime Minister of Japan, and with Prime Minister of Australia. The Prime Minister would also engage with the Japanese business community and the Indian diaspora during his stay in Tokyo. Let me first begin with the Quad Leader Summit. As you all know, Quad cooperation is anchored in the shared values and commitment to the principles of democracy, international law, and rules-based international order, as also the vision for a free, open, and inclusive Indo-Pacific. Since its first summit, Quad has been working to implement a positive and constructive agenda with a strong focus on enabling peace, prosperity, and stability in the Indo-Pacific region. Our cooperation efforts have included 1. Working together on climate action. This involves creating a decarbonized green shipping network in the Indo-Pacific, making use of clean hydrogen and making it more accessible, pooling capacities to assist Indo-Pacific countries in climate monitoring and information sharing. Quad's Infrastructure Coordination Group has been deliberating on supporting sustainable and demand-driven infrastructure in the region in a manner that doesn't burden countries of the region with unsustainable debt. 3. Cooperation on critical and emerging technologies, biotechnology, diversification of semiconductor supply chain, and security of critical cyber infrastructure are other key priority areas of our cooperative measures in the Quad. 4th, continuing cooperation on COVID response and post-COVID management of economy and health infrastructure are also important elements. These include last mile delivery, health security, genomic surveillance, clinical trials, and pandemic preparedness as their important elements. Quad would also organize a special session on the sidelines of the World Health Assembly later this month on promoting vaccine confidence and fighting the infodemic, which is on 24th of May. The upcoming summit in Tokyo would therefore provide the leaders with an opportunity to take stock of the progress made thus far on Quad's initiatives and also give guidance for the future. Developments in the Indo-Pacific region and global issues of mutual interest might also come up for discussion. As I mentioned in the beginning, the Prime Minister will also have a bilateral meeting with President Biden on 24th of May. The India-US relationship, as you all know, is multifaceted, has acquired momentum, is depth, and is diversified. Our long-standing cooperation in diverse areas ranging from trade, defense, security, climate, education, energy, pretty much all aspects of human economic endeavor is on upward trajectory. There is regular exchange of visits and dialogue, and these dialogues just are not limited to the bilateral agenda, but also include issues of regional and global importance. Prime Minister's meeting with President Biden will mark continuation of these high-level dialogues and provide guidance and vision to take the relationship forward. Prime Minister will also meet the Japanese President, Excellency Kishida. Prime Minister Kishida, Japan, as you know, is among our most important partners. Prime Minister Modi has referred to India-Japan relationship as one of the most natural in the region. In the last few years, India-Japan special, strategic and global partnership has seen great momentum. This meeting between the two Prime Ministers will be an opportunity to carry forward the high-level engagement between the two countries, as also to advance bilateral cooperation agenda. As you are aware, Prime Minister Kishida's recent visit to India saw substantial outcomes, which included a target of Japanese yen 5 trillion, approximately $40 to $42 billion in public and private investment and financing over the 5 years, and adoption of several other key outcome documents, which included 1. An industrial competitiveness partnership roadmap, 2. Clean energy partnership, 3. Sustainable development initiative for the Northeast, and lastly, agreements on sustainable urban development, cybersecurity, etc. In Tokyo, the two Prime Ministers will continue their discussions on how to further deepen bilateral economic cooperation, including in trade and investment, clean energy, cooperation in the Northeast, people-to-people ties, digital partnership, and of course exchange perspective on common issues of regional and global importance. Commercial exchanges and business-to-business partnerships are a crucial pillar of India-Japan relations. Prime Minister will hold a business roundtable and interact with the leadership of Japanese industry and businesses, and also have few one-on-one business meetings during his stay in Tokyo. Prime Minister's interaction with business leaders of Japan will further propel our economic engagement between the two countries. During the visit, the Prime Minister will also interact with the Indian community, which is an important anchor of our ties with Japan. You would be aware that elections are being held in Australia today. We understand that the next Australian Prime Minister is likely to attend the Quad Summit. It is expected that the Prime Minister will meet the new Australian leader in Tokyo. In their interaction, the two leaders would review the India-Australia Comprehensive Strategic Partnership and exchange views on regional and global developments of mutual interest. The last bilateral meeting between the two Prime Ministers was held virtually in March this year, which was, as you all recall, followed by the signing of India-Australia Economic Cooperation and Trade Agreement on 2nd of April 2022. I think I'll stop here and we'll take a few questions on Prime Minister's upcoming visit to
Thank you very much, sir.
you.
Before I begin, ground rules again. One question, please. Please stick to the topic, which is the Prime Minister's visit to Japan, and also introduce yourself and the organizations. So I see 3-4 names. Should I start? Okay. Today I saw you first, please, ma'am. Then I'll come to you. Yeah, go ahead. There.
This is Nivedita from Swarajya. Will India be accepting an invite to the India-Pacific Economic Forum, considering that it has also been negotiating a trade deal with the US? And how comfortable would be India with a change in leadership in Australia, considering the momentum which was gained in the CEPA?
That is the second question. But okay. No. Akhilesh, please.
Sir, I'm Akhilesh Suman from Sansad TV.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, Sri Lanka is an important country in Indo-Pacific, and when Quad is meeting, Indo-Pacific is a really center point of all the meetings of Quad. So, are you going to talk about the situation in Sri Lanka and whether it will be possible that Quad members may assist Sri Lanka to come out of the crisis that it is going on?
I was waiting to say no, but you managed to bring it to a... Okay. Okay. Yes. To not allow that question on Sri Lanka, but he managed to bring it to something. Okay, Yeshi, please go ahead.
Yeah, hi, this is Yeshi Seli from the New Indian Express. Is Renkoji likely to be a stopover for the PM this time? Renkoji. Okay,
sorry, you had praised you. And then I'll come. We'll have another round.
This is Chandrakala from ETV Bharat, service side. My question is, we have seen in a recent visit by Prime Minister Modi to Europe, he has maintained India's stance on Ukraine. So with US present in Tokyo, what can we expect when it comes to India's stand on Ukraine? Will India be able to stand its ground in Tokyo as well?
I think, look, since Ukraine is a pretty topical issue, why don't we, anybody else anything Ukraine related? So we can take it this round instead of having to come back to it. You have something Ukraine related? Okay, ma'am. No, one second. Okay.
Seema Guha from Outlook magazine. I just wanted to find out whether there will be much pressure on India on the ban on wheat exports. And what would be India's stand there?
So we'll take this round and then come next round. Siddhant? Yeah, hold on. Microphone's coming to you. Microphone's coming to him? Yeah.
So Siddhant from WION, does Quad has any security dimension? Is Quad looking at any security dimension at a time when we know that there is increased Chinese aggressiveness and in the backdrop of what has happened in Ukraine as well?
Okay, thank you. So.
There's a set of questions on various things, topics perhaps not necessarily connected to each other. I think let me just come to the first question, I think, which was asked by Ms. Nivedita there on with regard to Australian presence, SEPA, the comfort, etc. I think I'm sure you all are quite conscious and aware of it, but let me state it anyway upfront that insofar as India-Australia strategic partnership is concerned, there is a pretty much complete bipartisan support in Australia for India-Australia relation. You yourself referred to the India-Australia free trade agreement, which was concluded between the two countries during the virtual summit in March this year. I think the discussions between the two leaders in Tokyo, between the Australian leader and the Indian Prime Minister, when they take place, we are quite confident that they would be forward-leaning in terms of not just taking the stock of what can be, what the relationship have progressed, but also how to build on it further and expand the dimensions of various cooperative efforts that India and Australia do. I don't see anything other than a positive, constructive and a forward-leaning agenda of discussion and cooperation insofar as India and Australia are concerned. I think with regard to the Indo-Pacific economic framework, I think that was the second element of the question. I think this is something which is under discussions, and I think the discussions and the conversations are still going on. We will let you know how this unfolds going forward. But we do all realize that insofar as the Indo-Pacific region is concerned, the economic segment of it is a very important segment, both in terms of harnessing the opportunities of economic partnership that are available in the region, whether they are in various dimensions of economic areas or they are related to capacity building. And I think one of the focuses of Prime Minister's conversations during the Quad summit will be on the Indo-Pacific, which is essentially one of the main areas of Quad's focus, and also within that space the economic dimension of the cooperation. I think the on India-Ukraine there was, I think, only one question which came up. The related question, I don't think it's related to Ukraine because wheat is a different aspect. I think on Ukraine our position is amply clear, has been reiterated many times. But just in case there is any doubt in it or hasn't gone through clearly, let me very clearly say, right from the time that the hostilities got initiated in February, we have always spoken about, asked for immediate and early cessation of hostilities, and we have also said that insofar as the resolution of the developing situation in Ukraine is concerned, the path of diplomacy and dialogue is the best path for us to move forward.
WION, now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.